English Easy Podcast.
Hello, learners. Welcome back to English Easy Podcast, your partner to learning English. And welcome to today's deep dive. Imagine this for a second. You're sitting across from a native English speaker.
Right. Maybe a new colleague you're trying to build rapport with.
Yeah, exactly. Or someone you just met at a coffee shop. The coffee is hot. The vibe is good. You're feeling ready.
Confident, even.
Confident, yeah. And then they smile and ask the most common everyday question. So what did you do yesterday? And boom.
Complete brain freeze.
The absolute worst. Your mind goes blank. Your palms sweat. It's terrifying. So today, our mission is specifically tailored for you, the intermediate English learner who really wants to conquer this exact scenario.
It is such a relatable problem, too.
It really is. We are working from an amazing stack of notes today from a highly insightful, anonymous English learning discussion. We're keeping it anonymous to just focus purely on the step-by-step mechanisms of building your speaking confidence.
Right. Figuring out how to stop the panic, drop the robotic answers, and actually connect with people.
Okay, let's unpack this. Why does this freeze happen in the first place? I mean, it feels like an instant regression. You know the vocabulary, but you suddenly just turn into a statue.
Well, it happens because of how we were trained.
Yeah.
In traditional schooling, language education treats conversation like an inventory report.
An inventory report.
Yeah. We're taught to answer this specific question like a robot reading a boring to-do list. Like, I woke up at 7 a.m. I brushed my teeth. I had breakfast. I went to work.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It sounds so stiff.
Very stiff. And schools teach this method because it's highly measurable, right? A teacher can easily grade whether you conjugated those past tense verbs correctly.
Sure. It's convenient for the test.
Exactly. But that pedagogical convenience completely strips the humanity out of speaking a new language. Nobody in the real world communicates by listing their, basic geographical movements.
It's kind of like reading something in your grocery list instead of actually cooking them a meal.
That is a perfect way to put it.
So the source material points out that our very first step out of this trap is a fundamental mindset shift. We have to stop reporting and start reliving.
Right, because reporting is just cold data transfer. I went to a cafe, I had coffee, it was nice.
Which is fine if your boss wants a quarterly earnings report, I guess.
Right, but a conversation partner is looking for a human experience. Reliving is entirely different. You bypass the 24-hour summary and just zoom in on one specific micro moment.
Do we have an example of that?
We do. The source gives a fantastic contrast. Instead of the flat report, you say, yesterday I found this tiny little cafe near my office. The moment I walked through the door, it smelled like fresh bread and cinnamon. I just stood there for a second.
Oh, wow. That feels so much warmer. But wait, doesn't reliving a scene like that require a massive advanced vocabulary?
People always think that.
Right. I feel like intermediate learners might just drown trying to find the exact words for a cinematic monologue like that.
Well, what's fascinating here is that it actually doesn't. Let's look at the words in that example. Fresh bread. Cinnamon. Walked past it. Tiny. None of those are advanced vocabulary words.
Oh, I guess you're right. They're pretty foundational.
Exactly. The shift here is about specificity, not complexity. Taking the listener inside the moment with you completely bypasses the need for complex, formal grammar structures.
Like stressing over the past perfect continuous or whatever.
Right. Specificity is what makes the language come alive. Your yesterday is a movie. Don't read the credits. Just show them your favorite scene. You don't need a thesaurus. You just need to zoom in.
The sources actually share this hilarious story about a learner who gave the same robotic answer to their teacher for 3 solid months. Just, I worked, I came home, I ate dinner.
3 months of that.
Yeah. And the teacher finally stopped the class and asked if absolutely nothing interesting had happened to this person in 90 days.
And the thing is, the student's life wasn't boring. They were just filtering it through a boring linguistic framework.
Right. And when challenged, that student changed their description to one small, honest detail. They tried to cook pasta, left it on the stove too long, and the noodles stuck together into one giant, unbreakable ball.
See? And suddenly the whole room laughed. Connection happened.
Okay, so I picture the cafe, I describe the smell of cinnamon, or I describe the giant noodle ball. But honestly, if I just stop there, I just sound like a weird food critic.
I mean, maybe a little.
Right, like why should the other person care about my pastry or my ruined dinner?
Because facts are the skeleton, but feelings are the soul. You have to attach an emotional layer to the image.
The skeleton and the soul. I like that.
Let's look at a formal office environment. Saying, I had a meeting yesterday is a skeleton. It's just a structural fact.
Let's simulate this. If I just walk up to you and say I had a meeting, you probably just nod and look at your watch.
Yeah, I'd say, okay, great, and actively look for an excuse to walk away. The conversation hits a total dead end. But let's attach an emotion. What if you say, I had a meeting yesterday, and honestly, I was so nervous before it started.
Oh, that changes the tone completely.
Or I had a meeting and I was incredibly relieved when it ended. Or maybe I was a bit frustrated because we went in circles for an hour.
Those are three completely different realities based on just one event.
And as a listener, I suddenly have a hook. I don't necessarily care about the logistics of your meeting, but I care about how you felt, because feelings are where human connection actually occurs.
Yeah. If you say you were frustrated, I have an immediate opening to say, oh, I've felt that too. What happened?
Exactly. But we really need to talk about the danger of playing it safe here.
Oh, yes. The global conversation killer.
The word good.
It's so deadly. The sources shared a personal anecdote about this. Someone was asked how their weekend was, and because they wanted to avoid making grammar mistakes, they just said, it was good. I stayed home. I watched TV.
And the interaction died in 3 seconds.
Completely flatlined. But the reality of their weekend was entirely different. They had spent an hour sitting on a balcony, watching the sky change colors, feeling, as he described it, peaceful but lonely.
Peaceful but lonely. That is a profound, universally relatable human experience. And they hid that rich experience behind the word good because good acts as a linguistic shield.
It requires zero vulnerability.
Zero vulnerability and zero cognitive effort.
I hear our listeners pushing back right now, though. They're thinking, what if my day genuinely feels boring, like mundane?
Right, the social media trap.
Exactly. We open our phones and see people vacationing in Bali, having these spectacular weekends. And I just made rice and watched a sitcom. How do I attach a meaningful feeling to making rice?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, social media has completely warped our cognitive baseline for what makes a compelling narrative. We think a story requires a massive external event.
Right, an exotic trip or a party.
But some of the most captivating conversations are about the internal reaction to ordinary things. Let's take your staycation example. You didn't go to Bali. You stayed in your apartment.
The boring, guarded description is just, I stayed home.
Right. But the relived, soulful description is, I spent Saturday morning just listening to the rain against the window. I didn't do much, but I felt so drained from the work week that the absolute quiet was exactly what my brain needed.
Oh, wow. If someone said that to me, I would immediately lean in. The shared vulnerability of feeling drained is just magnetic.
Because you aren't performing for the native speaker anymore. You aren't trying to impress them with a wild adventure. You're just sharing a genuine feeling.
That honesty totally shifts the power dynamic. You stop being a student trying to pass an oral exam, and you become an equal participant in a human exchange.
Absolutely.
But even if I have the strategy, even if I know I need a specific scene and an emotional angle, there's still a massive elephant in the room.
The panic.
Yes. When that native speaker actually looks at me and the pressure is suddenly on, my brain still initiates a biological panic response. How do we bypass that freeze?
This requires digging into the cognitive science of language acquisition. The sources outline a technique called remembering over answering, and it completely rewires how you approach the moment.
Let's use the story of Carlos from Mexico to break this down, because this was so relatable.
Oh, poor Carlos, yeah.
He'd been studying English for 4 years. His grammar was solid, his vocabulary was extensive, but every single time a coworker asked him about his weekend, he froze. Just a classic deer in the headlights moment.
Well, Carlos froze because he was trying to answer a question. When you perceive a question as a test, your brain accesses the grammar translation pathways.
You go straight into exam mode.
Exactly. You start actively processing rules in real time. What is the past participle of this verb? Am I using the correct preposition? Did I just mess up the subject-serve agreement?
Here's where it gets really interesting. It's an overwhelming cognitive load. Your brain is trying to do high-level math while simultaneously trying to sound casual.
Precisely. And when the cognitive load gets too high, the amygdala, the emotions center of your brain, interprets the situation as a threat. It triggers a mild fight-or-flight response.
So your ability to retrieve vocabulary literally shuts down.
Yes. That is the biological mechanism of the brain freeze.
But does closing your eyes for a second actually bypass that mental grammar test?
It does. The sources gave Carlos a brilliant technique to short-circuit that amygdala hijack. The next time someone asks about your day, close your eyes for just 1 single second. Do not formulate an answer. Just remember the moment.
Don't translate, just visualize.
Right. See the room, smell the food, hear the sounds in your mind, and then just describe what you were looking at in your memory. By doing that, you shift your brain's processing center. You move away from the grammar pathway and you access episodic memory.
Which stores the sensory details and the emotions. And it completely worked for Carlos.
It really did.
He went back to work. His coworker asked about his weekend, and instead of freezing, he took a breath. He remembered Sunday morning, and he told his coworker, "I made pancakes with my daughter. She put way too much syrup on hers. It was dripping everywhere, and she was laughing so hard."
Just look at the linguistic flow there. Pancakes, syrup, dripping, laughing. When you visualize the kitchen and the sticky syrup, the words attach to the visual, not to a grammar rule book.
That's amazing.
Memories have built-in feelings. You don't have to search a mental dictionary for the right vocabulary because the sensory details pull the language out for you.
You stop translating and you start reliving. Let's do a quick simulation of this so that listeners can hear how it fundamentally changes the tone. Let's say we are at a networking event. We don't know each other. I walk up to you and say, "So what did you get up to yesterday?"
Okay, if I try to access my grammar translation pathway, I'll panic about using the perfect tense and say, I have gone to the store and purchased supplies.
Super stiff, super awkward.
Right. But if I use the visualization technique, I pause. I see the memory of the grocery store in my mind. Honestly, I just went grocery shopping, but I spent 20 minutes trying to pick the perfect watermelon. I kept tapping on them like I knew what I was doing, and I felt a little ridiculous.
Tapping on the watermelons. It's so vivid, it breaks the ice instantly because it's slightly self-deprecating and highly relatable.
And notice I didn't stress about the past continuous tense because I was just narrating the movie playing in my head.
You shift from surviving the conversation to actively driving it, but to really pull this off, we need better tools. Using exact emotional vocabulary isn't just finding a key for a lock. It's like upgrading a blurry black and white security camera feed to 4K video.
I love that analogy.
Because good is a blurry pixel. It doesn't give the listener any real information. We need the 4K words. So the sources provided a word tour of emotional adjectives, and we're going to practice them.
The reason specific emotional anchors matter goes back to cognitive mechanisms. When you use a nuanced word, you're linking language directly to physical sensations.
And words tied to deep emotions literally form thicker neural pathways in your brain than flat, boring words.
Exactly. They are retained longer and recalled faster because they have real weight to them.
So learners, I want you to literally repeat these aloud wherever you are listening. A word you use is a word you keep. A word you only hear just passes through. Let's explore the nuance. The first word is vivid.
Vivid. Clear, full of life, and intensely bright in your mind. Why say, I have a good memory of the cafe, when you can say, I have a vivid memory?
Say it with us. Vivid. It implies the colors and sounds are still sharp. Next is a word we touched on earlier. Drained.
Why use drained instead of just tired? Because tired is merely a state of being. Drained paints a physical picture of a battery at absolute zero.
Or a sink where all the water has been violently sucked out. Drained. After work yesterday, I felt completely drained.
It gives the listener a visual mechanism for your exhaustion.
Our third word is relieved. This isn't just about feeling okay. It's the specific sensation of a heavy weight being lifted off your chest.
Right. It's the feeling you get when you realize you didn't actually lose your passport. It was just in your other pocket.
Such a good feeling. Relieved. I was so relieved when the presentation was over.
Then we have stiff. This is a brilliant word to describe your own language learning journey. It means forced, robotic, lacking natural fluidity.
Like a wooden board. Stiff.
When you feel that panic setting in, you can actually name it to your conversation partner. Just say, sorry, my English gets a bit stiff when I'm nervous.
Acknowledging the feeling immediately diffuses the tension. I love that tip for beginners and intermediate speakers alike. And the final word is incredibly powerful.
Nostalgic.
Nostalgic. It's not just sadness. It's a warm, gentle yearning for the past.
It's a soft smile with a little ache in your chest. Nostalgic. Hearing my mom's voice on the phone made me feel so nostalgic.
Try rolling these words around in your mind today. Feel the physical shape of them. Vivid, drained, relieved, stiff, nostalgic. These aren't just vocabulary upgrades. They are tools for empathy. By using them, you're opening a clear window into your internal landscape. So how do we put all of this into action? we have a practical challenge for you today.
Yes, a really great daily exercise.
We want you to write a short daily journal entry today, or even drop a comment below about one specific tiny moment from yesterday, or even from your morning routine today.
Like the very first sip of your morning coffee, or the cold wind on your walk to the bus stop.
But apply the framework. Do not report the event, relive the scene. Visualize it first to bypass the grammar panic. Attach a genuine feeling to it, and use one of the 4K emotional adjectives we just explored.
Transform a boring fact into an intricate, relatable moment.
You could write something like, yesterday morning I just sat by my window, the sky was turning pink. I had my coffee and I felt a little drained from the week, but sitting there made me feel incredibly peaceful. It's a vivid memory.
Simple foundational words, but complex, real feelings.
So what does this all mean? It means telling your honest story matters. When you share a true, ordinary moment, your honesty gives permission to everyone else in the room to feel that their ordinary lives matter too.
You know, this raises an important question to leave you with today. We've spent this entire time talking about how to change your English to improve your conversations, but think about the internal impact of this shift.
Oh, yeah.
If the language we use shapes how others see our lives, how much is our robotic exam-style English tricking us into believing our own lives are actually boring?
Wow. Wait, really think about that.
Right. When you constantly report your day as a cold checklist of tasks, you subconsciously start to view yourself as a machine. But what if changing how you talk about your day in a second language actually alters how you experience your life in the present moment?
That is so profound. What if actively searching for those small, vivid, emotional details makes your everyday reality feel fundamentally richer?
It's definitely something to mull over today.
Absolutely. So next time someone asks you, what did you do yesterday? Remember that you aren't defending a thesis. You aren't passing an exam. You are unfreezing yourself. You are sharing the 4K movie of your life.
Take a breath, close your eyes, find the cinnamon, find the sticky syrup, and just share the human feeling.
Keep practicing, keep finding those moments, and we will see you on the next deep dive.